So today I'm finally doing it. I'm getting my elbow tattooed. It's the first like elbow, knee, big joint tattoo that I'm gonna get. And I was going to use numbing cream because my pain tolerance is getting worse as I get older. And I've used numbing cream on tattoos before, mostly on my thighs and stuff. The numbing cream was the kind that you use once you've already tattooed a bit. The one that this artist recommended using was one that you put on like an hour before you get tattooed. But I tried a little patch test last night on the inner elbow just to see if I'd like have an allergic reaction, what it felt like, that kind of stuff. And I ended up hating how it felt. It felt more like pins and needles than like numbing. I don't know if that makes sense, but I wasn't keen on the feeling of it. I'm just gonna have to tough it out. If it doesn't fit on my elbow, because I sort of want to get it around here, but I've got other tattoos above it that might interfere with it, I'm just gonna get it on my leg instead. The design I'm getting is another snake tattoo. I already have 2 of them, but my reasoning for getting more is that snakes look sick as tattoos. I've been getting tattooed for 6 years? How old am I? 25? Yeah, I've been getting tattooed for about 6 years. Again, like pain tolerance is getting worse with age, and I know a lot of artists have said the same thing about when they get tattooed now. I think part of it as well is when you get your first few tattoos, your adrenaline is still really high because you're still nervous about it. I don't know if this is real. This is what I think happens. Your body's producing all this adrenaline because you're getting tattoos in areas that you haven't gotten before. And I think as you get older, the adrenaline isn't as high if you get more tattoos because you know what it feels like. But then it ends up feeling worse and with more pain because your body knows what to expect. I don't know if that's real or if I'm talking shit. There have been maybe like 2 times in my life where I've been like, oh, I wish I had no tattoos. And it's usually after I get one in a new location and it looks weird because it's all by itself. Like I remember when I first started getting leg tattoos, the first one was really good, really happy with the placement. Because I've got this like sticker style, if I just get a tattoo in the middle of nowhere, sometimes it looks a bit dumb. But as I start to feel around it, I feel a bit better about its placement and all that kind of stuff. And I think now I look back on photos where I had 1 or 2 tattoos or I had no tattoos and I'm like, who is that? Like, I don't know her. I feel so much more confident in my body and with myself and just as a person with a lot of ink. And I say a lot, this isn't even that much. I want to be covered, at least legs and arms covered, and then I think I want to get some sort of like sternumy belly thing, but I do have to think about that one for a bit because it would be huge, and I don't really have a lot of like giant tattoos or like ones that take up a whole body part. They are often smaller, so to commit to a stone piece is something that I really want to think about. The artist I'm going to today is someone who's done, she's done 1 tattoo on me before. They're super lovely. They've tattooed, I think, my step brother as well. So like really trustworthy artist, super lovely. The first piece they did for me was a memorial for one of our family dogs and that came out brilliantly. So I figured if I can trust someone to do that, I'm just going to keep going back to them. There's maybe 3 or 4 artists that I have on rotation. They all do different styles, they all have different specialties. If you're going for this kind of tattoo stickery look, it's probably best to go to 4 or 5 artists that you really like because then it's still cohesive enough. Do whatever you want, to be honest. Do whatever you want with your body. I find that this is what works for me, is that I have artists on rotation. Most of my pieces are done by the same 4 or 5 people. I don't know how much of the process I'm going to show while I'm actually getting tattooed because I don't want to interfere with the artist in their space and the tattoo shop and everything like that. I might put little clips in, I'm not really sure. I want to make sure everyone's comfortable. I'll see you after the tattoo's done. I just got home, so excuse if I'm a bit disheveled. I was sitting on a tattoo table for 2 hours, which is pretty good. The tattoo, yeah, it took 2 hours, including a break, just like for a snack. Pain wise, the actual elbow part didn't hurt at all. Like, I hardly felt it. It almost made the rest of my arm numb, so it was fine. Like, it actually felt kind of good. And then above and below my elbow were actually the most painful spots, which was really interesting. Like, the artist hasn't really come across that either, so the artist thinks maybe it's because I'm a redhead, maybe because I have joint issues. We don't know why I reacted like that, which was honestly kind of good, because I've felt pain closer to my elbows before with different tattoos, but I thought the actual joint would be much worse, but it wasn't painful at all. So I think I'm really lucky in a weird way. She did assure me that the pain of getting tattoos does get worse with age, so she sort of recommended doing elbows, knees, knee ditches, all that kind of stuff before I hit 35, so I've got 10 more years. As far as pricing goes, it was about $300, just under $300. For what it is, I think that's a really good price. The fact that it took 2 hours, I'm not going to question her pricing. I think it looks really cool. I'll probably put clips of it in later after I give it a wash. I'm going to keep I've got Glad wrap on it at the moment, and I think I'm going to keep it on for a little while, just so I don't seep ink everywhere, all over our furniture. Probably keep it on just before I have dinner, and then I'll give it a wash. I will show it once it's cleaned up. I might sit down to update about pain levels, swelling, all that kind of stuff once the Glad wrap is off, because I think that's a better indicator of what the swelling is actually going to look like. The artist was trying to get photos of the tattoo after it was done, and I was too red and swollen, so I'm interested to see if that'll go down or if it'll stay like that for a few days. I also bled a little bit more with this tattoo than I have in the past. Yeah, I ended up not using numbing cream because I think I spoke about it a bit before. It just felt really weird when I did a test patch last night, and I was fine without it. Again, I don't know if I perceive pain differently. Not to be super tough. I'm a freak. I'm a genetic freak. I will say, if you are thinking of using numbing cream, tell your artist that you're going to use it, because it does change the way they work with your skin. Even without numbing cream, the elbow did struggle to take a lot of ink in. I have a history of fainting with piercings mostly, but every time I go to a tattoo I make sure I'm fed. I've had a lot of water. I am drinking Gatorade. I drink Gatorade for the whole day. Even after the tattoo is done, I drink Gatorade. I also am constantly eating before my appointment, so I think I doubled my usual breakfast. I ate double the portion. I think I had an up and go in transit, and then I also ate a Kit Kat and some lollies and stuff that the artist had in the studio. I do recommend eating sugar, getting your electrolytes in, all that kind of stuff. It sort of keeps your energy levels up. You're lower risk of fainting. I don't think there's anything else I want to touch on. I think of something, I'll just turn the camera back on, but the next check-in will probably be tonight before bed to see how swollen it really is. Can you notice anything different? My mini mics got delivered today, so hopefully the audio quality is a bit better, but not so good that you can hear my spit move around in my mouth. Tattoo's going good. I just took off the Glad wrap, gave it a good wash, put Bepanthen on. So sick. I'm really happy with the finished product. This is this is so awesome. She did such a good job. I will say the pain is annoying. I keep going to lean on my elbow, or even when I was putting the Bepanthen on it, it still stings really bad. Even rubbing the Bepanthen in, it just freaking hurt, dude. Hurt so bad. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to go sleeping. It's obviously still very red, which is normal for me. That's just what tattoos look like for me now. I get super inflamed. It's slightly swollen compared to my other elbow, which is to be expected. There's no, as far as I can tell, there's no bruising on it so far, and I don't know if it will bruise, but I'm hoping it doesn't, because that'd suck. But yeah, I think it looks super cool. I'm so happy with it. I'll probably wrap it up again for bedtime just so I don't leak ink everywhere. Yeah, I think I plan on getting more of my joints done soon, because now that I know it's not that bad, I want to go ham with it. The tattoo artist today said something like, "Oh, you look like a really tattooed person when you get your elbows done," and I'm like, yeah, I want to be a tattooed person. But yeah, super happy with how it's turned out. Glad to be smelling like the Panthen again. It's awesome. I have just washed the tattoo for the first time today, so it's the day after I got the tattoo. I've just washed it, put some aftercare cream on, had a good look. It does look like my elbow has bruised. It's still swollen. I slept terribly because I kept rolling over onto it and waking up. Like, it's annoying, but for how sick it looks, it's worth the annoyance and the bruising and the swelling. I do still go to lean on it. I will say as well, it does look like there's a blowout. I'm unsure if it's a blowout or a bruise. If it is a blowout, shit happens. I don't really care. It's still a little bit red sort of on the inner parts of the snake. Otherwise, I think it looks sick. Like, it's so cool, and the shading is going to settle so nicely. I do think some ink has already fallen out closer to the bone of my elbow, but again, I'm expecting that. Even when the artist was tattooing it, it didn't seem like my skin in that area wanted to take the ink anyway. I have enough tattoos now that I'm like, if it blows out, if it doesn't hold ink, if it's not perfect, I don't care, because first of all, I don't think tattoos are ever going to be perfect. Like a person has made it, you know, they're not a machine. So it really doesn't bother me. It's part of being tattooed is that you get blowouts, you get parts where the ink doesn't hold. I've had similar experiences around my knees where ink won't hold. So I've experienced all that before and just like come to terms with it. It's not that big of a deal. My skin is particularly fragile because of some medical conditions that I have. And I think when those conditions are flaring up, it must do something to my skin that makes it more prone to blowouts or something. Because the only time I've ever had blowouts is when I'm having a flare up of these medical conditions. So I think that's something that I need to take into account moving forward. Yeah, my skin is a lot thinner, stretchier, more prone to bruising, more prone to scarring, all that kind of stuff. And I do take that on as it being like my issue. I'm not blaming tattoo artists for, well, you didn't stretch my skin enough. You didn't know that my skin does this, because like, how are they supposed to know? Even if I tell them, like, the true extent of how my skin works is a mystery at this point. It's just embarrassing to be like, yeah, I look fucking sick, but like, I think I do, and I think I want to get my other elbow done like immediately. So I'm trying to not book in another tattoo. I do need to save up money for future ones. The way it peeks out under my shirt sleeves and stuff is awesome. I'll check in again just to update on the bruising, update on the if it's a blowout or not. Again, want to reiterate, it does not bother me. Do not come for my artist if it is a blowout, because they're a legend and my skin is stupid. I'll update again over the next few days, see how it's going. Probably worth mentioning as well that I have hypermobile elbows, so it again doesn't surprise me if a tattoo doesn't sit well on my elbows, because they stretch in the weirdest way. It would make sense to have skin inconsistencies and that area to be difficult to tattoo, because it is so bendy and stupid. Yeah. The tattoo flu has hit me. I usually get really fatigued and oh, that's a look. I get really fatigued and exhausted and like dizzy and lightheaded and shit. Like a couple days post tattoo. No matter where it is on my body, no matter how big it is, I always get like tattoo flu. So I'm in bed watching YouTube, feel like shit. Went to scratch my elbow, but managed to stop myself. I was like, why is my elbow so itchy? Tattoo flu is hitting really, really hard. Is it still recording? Hello? It's been 1 week since getting my elbow tattooed. I Got the tattoo on a Tuesday, had flaking on the Friday, and then Saturday is when the itching really started to set in, which is great. I have just been dealing with the itching by like lightly tapping it or lightly rubbing it. Otherwise, I'll moisturize it. If the itching's really bad and moisturizing it tends to help. I think the bruising and the swelling has gone down. That area where I was contemplating whether it was a bruise or a blowout, I have realized it is most likely a blowout. I've got blowouts on other tattoos. I think I've spoken about it at length because I don't want people to come for the artist, but yeah, it really doesn't bother me that much. I'll do another close-up of the tattoo as well. I haven't moisturized it yet today because I wanted to give you guys a proper look at how flaky it can get. It's not as bad as some other tattoos I've had. Some of the other tattoos on the backs of my arms that are heavy black would flake really bad. I think because the shading in this is more of a like stippling effect, I don't notice it as much as solid black. Yeah, it's healing really well. I also posted a fit check on TikTok yesterday, and I had a comment asking for a tattoo tour. So it's very likely that by the time this video goes up, I will have a tattoo tour over on TikTok. Okay, this is going to be a very quick check-in because I have to work in like 20 minutes. But it's been a month since getting the tattoo on my elbow. I haven't moisturized it today just to show what it looks like naturally. The tattoo has healed really nicely. Even with the blowout, it's not as prominent as it was when the tattoo was fresh, so that's really nice. Again, like you can only really see it if I'm bending my elbow, but even then, no one else has been able to spot it. Like I think it's just a me problem. Settled really nicely. It went through the whole scaly, scabby phase. The bruising didn't last long. The scabbing didn't last long. Moisturizing it helped a lot with the scabbing. I am going to send a photo to the artist as well. She did ask me to send her a healed photo after about a month. So I'm excited to show her what it looks like now. I love looking at it in the mirror. I'm still looking at it constantly, especially if I'm getting dressed and my shirt hits, like the sleeve hits just above where the tattoo starts. Looks awesome. Again, this is very quick check-in. I'm super happy with the result of it. I'm keen to get my other elbow tattooed now. I hope you've had enough information throughout the rest of the video to understand the healing process because it's been a month now. I don't remember what it was like. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more little vlogs. I might do more tattoo videos as I get more tattoos as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.